Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. So recently, I say over the past few years, 2 or 3 years to be exact, there's been talk of how the economy is good because the Democrats, the Biden administration, Biden-Harris administration has created so many jobs, hundreds of thousands of jobs. So the job market is good. But I always felt that that was not a total accurate statement just by living in real life. Like take for instance, Texas. Down here, let's say minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Now, studies have shown that in order for a person to afford a 1-bedroom apartment anywhere in the U.S., they have to make at least $17.50 an hour, which means comes to the question of how people able to support themselves and live in this economy making minimum wage in Texas. Well, for starters, you have to have more than one job. And third, if possible, or 2A, you have to work a lot of overtime, depend on overtime to make sure you make ends meet. That's just how it's going. Even for people who can make $80, $90, $100,000, used to be 4 or 5 years ago, you can make $100,000 and you straight. Have a nice house, nice neighborhood, nice car, pay them, paying stuff off without no problem. Cool. But even people who are making $100,000, and it's easy for someone to say, hey, if you can't afford the house you're living in, you're going to move into a cheaper house. So here's the thing. The way it's set up, people don't understand is, there's an article I read in the Dallas Morning News a couple of weeks ago about rent and how affordable rent is not really affordable, that really poor people are paying, or people making minimum wage, just poor people, are actually paying near, if not more, than people who make decent money in rent. Because, I've seen stories where someone has a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bath, living in the hood, paying $1,500 a month. I told you a story about like my stepdaughter coming down, and she was looking for an apartment, and we were looking for like basic apartments. Like, me growing up in my time, I know what a basic apartment is. So I'm looking at these basic apartments, and they wanted her to make 3 times the rent for that apartment. And I said to myself, 3 times the rent is what I make. And there's no way in the world I would start out what I make living in an apartment like that. Just wouldn't do it. I've been there. I've done that, making $6.50, $7.50, $8 an hour, $10 an hour. I've been there. I'm making way more than $10 and $8 an hour now. I'm not living in that same place. I'm moving on up. And back then was able to do it and be able to pay, didn't have to worry about overtime. Can work just a regular job, 40 hours, whatever, and pay bills or whatever I need to do. Not finna do it now with the money I make. Doesn't make sense. Now, I think that's being done for, let's say, like families. I think a lot of things now, especially when it comes to like Republicans and conservatives, they are gearing things more towards family because a family structure shows more stability all the way across the board. You have more success, or the odds are higher for things to be like sustainability when you have two parent household. You just do. So I think that's what they're trying. I believe that's what they're trying to do. Weed out those who like single parents with a bunch of little kids that you ain't watching. We don't want them here turning up our apartments that have already done it. We see it ain't working. The government be tripping on money sometimes. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that you can afford to stay here. Because we know if you respect where you live, then, your kids would be more respectable, and our apartments will stay, or even the houses that's rented out, they will maintain value longer. I mean, that's what I think. But anyway, the point is, a lot of people are not making that kind of money, and the job market is not that great because minimum wage has not went up, but inflation is killing. But anyway, let's get into the article. Because I'm telling too many details before I get to the story. This is from MSN.com, and it reads by way of The Hill, and it reads: opinion: sudden shift in jobs data shows workers are struggling to survive Biden-Harris inflation. The government recently reported that job gains between March 2023 and March 2024 had been overstated by 818,000, a breathtaking goof by the official bean counters. All those reports that were cheered by the Biden-Harris administration, they were as phony as a $3 bill. Has the Biden-Harris White House been cooking the books, as some have claimed? Maybe, but there is another possible explanation for the significant downward revisions in the jobs numbers, equally unflattering to the administration and its happy talk about the economy. Everybody knows the economy is jacked up. Price of hell. Even Harris said it herself that, people can't afford to live and it's bad and it shouldn't be like that. But you the one in office. So what you going to do about it? Besides tell grocery stores they can't sell eggs for $2. They got to sell it for $1. And then you put the egg sellers, the milk companies, cereal companies, anybody else, and the grocery stores out of business. Simply put, many middle-class workers have taken on multiple jobs and are struggling to make ends meet. Those extra shifts are included in the Bureau of Labor Statistics data as multiple jobs. They are in reality just overworked Americans trying to navigate the Biden-Harris inflation tsunami. Exactly. I say that I'm an example. I say it like that. I do have a career where I make, like I said, a nice salary, not a salary, but I make good money. Even base, 40 hours a week, making good money. When I make overtime, sky's the limit. Get a little money saved up, put a little money, paying some stuff off. But it's cool right now because right now the goal is to pay a lot of things off because of the goals that I have in the near future that I will need to accomplish. So I just go ahead and put the work in. That's just what you do. You grind, you hustle. But I also have a little, what do you call it? Not really part-time, but like PRN job where I work a few hours when I want extra things. When I want to do extra things and not touch what I got growing over here, I do a little something else on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? But I say 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about having like a little old part-time or PRN job because everything could be done with the one job I had. If I wanted extra money, overtime was free. It was just freely available. Still is now. But that's the thing. Really shouldn't have to do that. Because like I said, 6 years ago, didn't have to do that. But it's funny now because grocery prices and gas prices and everything else is up. Every little penny counts. You know how they tell you to save your money, be, couponing and make sure you just don't spend money frivolously, like buying snacks here, little junk there, stuff you really don't need, t-shirt here and there. That stuff adds up over time. Well, now it's happening. That's the same thing was happening with inflation. You know what I'm saying? A few cents here on gas, a few cents here on fruits and vegetables, a few cents here on bread, a few cents on juices, toiletries, this and that, this and the third. It adds up to where you're spending an extra few $100s a month on things that wasn't costing that in a while. You know what I'm saying? Just a few short years ago. So Biden-Harris got a lot of explaining to do, and Harris got a lot of explaining to do. When is she going to sit down and allow somebody to ask her some questions on how? Now, she'll sit down with somebody like Steve Harvey, who will sit there and tell you, yeah, I'm gonna throw softball questions. I'm not gonna sit here and don't say asking no hard questions because we trying to get this woman in office. We ain't got time to trying to trip nobody up, saying silly stuff like that. Anyway, while it is normal for the BLS to issue modest annual revisions to the monthly job figures, this year's restatement is the largest revision in 15 years since the time when reporting was being molded by the turmoil of the Great Recession. Given the importance that policymakers attach to the BLS tallies, the revision is quite alarming and also inexcusable. Economists have been warning that something is not right about the monthly employment report. In June, when the government reported against all odds that 272,000 jobs had been created in May, even Fed Chairman Jay Powell expressed skepticism, saying that there was a possibility the report may be a bit overstated. Last year, job numbers were revised downward, never upward for 10 months. Not a stellar record. In June 2023, for instance, instead of adding 209,000 jobs, as originally reported, it turned out the economy added only 105,000 jobs. That kind of repeated error makes people suspicious, and it should. And it should. Like I say, if I mess around and got 3 jobs, it doesn't mean you can add that to the tally of we created more jobs and more people getting hired. No, because first of all those jobs are already out there. So you haven't created any jobs. They are there. You go on these employment sites, they are already there. The thing is, who gonna get them? You don't have new people looking for those jobs. The problem, you got the same people trying to get the same jobs and just gonna go to it's like fast food. You may have a person who work at 2 or 3 different fast food places at the same time. I mean, that's all they know. You may have a person that work at 2 or 3 nursing homes at the same time. That's what they know. 2 or 3 hospitals at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to work at one not going to work at a hospital, and then another might then go and work at a dry cleaners most of the time, something like that. So, like I said, the jobs are out there. You just ain't got the people to work them. So who's working them? The same person who got the other job just like that. Those suspicions have increased as over the last year, the job reports from the household survey and the establishment survey has moved far apart. In the most recent month, for instance, the government's household survey reported that 161.26 million civilians were employed compared to 161.2 million in July 2023, indicating almost no increase year over year. That certainly does not jibe with the report monthly job gains of almost 242,000 on average, 242,000 on average. So basically what it's saying is the same number of people are working. So how in the heck you got 800,000 more people being hired? They're not. They're just working multiple jobs. In July's establishment survey, however, the BLS reported there was 158.7 million people working up from 156.2 million the year before, a gain of 2.5 million. Why the discrepancy? There's always small gaps due to differing sampling methods. The establishment survey includes reporting from 119,000 large and small enterprises and is considered a more accurate tally of employment trends than the household survey since it draws from a bigger sample. On the other hand, the household reports factors in data from some 60,000 households and includes self-employed or gig workers, unpaid family workers, and other employees not counted by the establishment survey. It says one reason that the job numbers may have been inflated is that the household survey counts workers only once as employed, even if those people have several jobs. In the establishment survey, the opposite is true. So in any economy like today's, where many people are having to take on multiple jobs to make ends meet, job growth will be exaggerated by the establishment survey. So the question is, which survey are you using? If you're using one, yes, you can say, hey, all these jobs are being created because some people are getting multiple jobs. But if you're using others, are going to say, ain't no way in hell because one person got 3 jobs. I'm guessing that is one reason the recent revisions are so large. Also, Say the establishment survey uses macroeconomic analyses to estimate the number of jobs created and lost by new businesses being formed and old ones going under. This calculus has long been considered extremely error prone. President Biden has been bragging about the number of new businesses started under his watch. Those figures may also have been exaggerated. All of this dissecting of the employment reports may strike many Americans as in the weeds and not very important to their daily lives. But BLS's overly bullish view of the labor picture has probably kept the Federal Reserve from cutting its interest rates. Even though the unemployment rate jumped from 3.4% in April 2023 to 4.3% last month, the Fed has sat on its hands, keeping interest rates high in order to squeeze inflation out of the system. What? Again, if I had two careers, second career, it'd be in finance and it'd be in like tax law, and it would be law and finance. Because you have to understand that's what runs the country and dictates what you're gonna do in your daily life when it comes to money. Let's see. Let's say, but Biden and Kamala Harris pushed spending beyond any reasonable level this year. Federal spending, I skipped over a little bit. This year, federal spending is predicted to reach 24.4% of the GDP, significantly above the long-term 39-year average of 21.1%. Meanwhile, revenues, including taxes, are estimated to total 17.6% of the GDP, just 0.4 percent points above the 1984 to 2023 average. Powell may be reluctant to add to that enormous ongoing stimulus by reducing interest rates. The good news about the overblown jobs reports, they have given him cover to wait. The bad news, high rates may yet push us into a recession, and the phony job gains have further eroded Americans' trust in the government. Of course, like I said, Harris, you're going to have to debate Trump soon. You're going to need to sit down and talk to people and tell us why we need to vote for you, not identity politics, not because you had Megan Thee Stallion up there with a midriff shirt on twerking. We need to know how you're going to solve for this inflation so Americans can live like Americans, quote unquote, supposed to live, the American dream. One job per person, working hard, coming up, starting from little, building your way up. If you put the effort into it, how are you going to fix it? How are you going to fix it? If you can't answer that, how are you going to create tangibles for, let's say, Black Americans? Also, if you can't answer those questions, then there really is no need to vote for you. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below, share it with the world. You know how we do around here. I want to thank y'all for watching, but also don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Doing those 4 things costs you nothing except maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but they mean the world to us. If you do want to support monetarily, you can go to the description box. You can the links there you can click on, and you can also give super thanks and super chats. Don't forget to go to marlonmorale.com where we have luxury products at reasonable prices. Promise that you will not be disappointed. We got perfumes, silk do-rags, silk scarves, beard kits, beard accessories, hanging toiletry bags, and more. Purses for the ladies, handbags for the ladies. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Get something for yourself. Get something for a loved one. marlonmorale.com where you can get 10% off your first purchase. With that being said, I leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.